All right, so Thursday night's homework. We're going to go over some of these. Make sure you have the numbers so it's easy to put into Edulastic. So you should start with 28 and number it all the way down. I'm not going to do the first two with you because you can do those on your own by punching those into your calculator. So looking at number 30, it says the bake sale earned $83.48 during the 4 hours it was open. What is the unit rate? Unit rate means 1. So if it makes $83.48 in 4 hours, we want to know if it was split evenly among the hours, how much did they make in 1 hour? And so to do that, you could set up a ratio box, or you could just go $83.48 divided by 4, and that's going to give you how much they made each hour. And that'll be your answer. Number 31. A bookstore is having a 30% off sale. Diary of a Wimpy Kid books are now $6.30 each. What was the original price? So I see percent, so I'm going to make a percent box. I'm going to do it over here to the side so we can see it a little bit better. Okay, percent, 100, and then we have part to whole. If it was 30% off, that means we're working with 70% of the original price. And if $6.30 came off, that was the part that came off, we want to know what was the original price. So I'd have to cross multiply and divide by 70. So I have $6.30 times 100 divided by 70. So I end up with 630 divided by 70, and that'll give me my original answer. All right. Number 32. It says, are the two expressions equivalent when x equals 2? So we want to plug in, wherever there's an x, we want to plug in a 2. So I have 7 squared plus 4x. When a number and a letter are next to each other, it means multiplication. And I'm going to come over here and substitute or replace that x with a 2. And so I'm going to plug that into my calculator and I'm going to get an answer. And then I'm going to look at my next one. I have 4x plus 7 times 7. Once again, when a number and a letter are touching, it means multiplication. I'm going to replace the x with a 2. I'm going to put that into my calculator and get an answer. If both of my answers are the same, then my answer is yes. If both of my answers are different, then my answer to the problem is no. We're not going to do number 33 because you can't put that one into Edulastic. So we're not going to do number 33. Number 34 says find the rule and solve for m. So we want to know, what are we doing to x to get to 5? And initially, my first thought is, oh, well, if I add 2, I get 5. But if I add 2 to 4, I don't get 7. So I have to kind of backtrack and I have to think. When I look at this, I go, well, it's really close if I double each one of these. But I have to take something away. So I think, okay, well, if I have 3 times 2, that equals 6. And then if I minus 1, I get 5. So does the rule work for the next one? If I double 4, and I get 8, and I minus 1, I get 7. I'm going to test it with 8. If I double 8, I get 16, and minus 1, I get 15. So my rule is I'm taking x, and I'm multiplying it by 2, and then taking 1 away. But I'm having to work backwards at this point. I know it's 11. So what number do I put in here for x that's going to give me 11? And so I have to think to myself, you can test numbers or not, but y equals x times 2 minus 1. Well, my y, I'm going to come over here, is 11. X times 2 minus 1. If I add 1, cancel that out, I get 12. So x times what equals, or 2 times what equals 12, which gives me 6. So n is going to equal 6. And that's going to be my answer. Good, all right. Okay. All right, the next problem, it says, Candace is going to replace the top of a table with a new piece of wood. How many square feet of wood would she have to purchase? This is another trapezoid, so we use the formula base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. If this is base 1 and this is base 2, then this is the height. And I plug those numbers in. 8 plus 12 times 5 divided by 2. And I'll punch that into my calculator and I will solve it. All right. And our last question says, Jordan is mailing a package at the post office. The box measures 8 3/4 inches long, 2 66/7 inches wide, and 5 inches high. What is the volume? And volume equals length times width times height. So to get my length and width, my height, my length is 8 3/4. My width is 2 6/7, and my height is 5. So all I have to do is multiply those together, and it'll give me my answer.